What if I told you that sometimes the most dangerous place to be is in your own mind? What if your brain, in its attempt to protect you, ends up trapping you instead? It builds stories, constructs patterns, looks for danger even in kindness. It whispers, "They're watching. They're talking about you. You can't trust anyone." Now, take a deep breath. You're not broken. You're not alone. And you are not your thoughts. Welcome back to Behind Your Mind, where we talk honestly, gently, and deeply about what goes on behind the curtain of human behavior. I'm glad you're here. Today, we're going to talk about something many experience but few openly name: a paranoid mindset. We'll explore what it really means to live with constant doubt, how it impacts your relationships, and how you can slowly but surely start breaking free from it. So, if you've ever felt like the world's out to get you, even when there's no real proof, this episode is for you. What is a paranoid mindset? Let's begin by understanding what we're talking about. A paranoid mindset is not always full-blown paranoia or a diagnosed condition. It's a pattern of thinking where someone consistently assumes the worst motives from others or sees threats where there might be none. It can look like believing someone is talking behind your back, even without evidence. Feeling that people are excluding you on purpose. Thinking a compliment is manipulative. Assuming that someone's silence is a form of judgment. Here's something important. Paranoia is not always delusional. Sometimes it comes from real experiences, from being hurt, manipulated, or ignored in the past. That means your brain learned to anticipate danger. It was trying to protect you. But here's the twist. When that protective instinct stays turned on for too long, it stops being a shield and starts becoming a prison. To understand how to break free from paranoia, we first need to know where it starts. 1. Past trauma or betrayal. A person who's been lied to, cheated on, abandoned, or emotionally abused may develop a mindset that says, "I need to be on guard all the time." The pain of betrayal plants seeds of mistrust that grow deep roots. 2. Emotional neglect. Children raised in emotionally unsafe environments, where love was conditional or unpredictable, may grow into adults who assume others can't be trusted, even if they seem kind. 3. Cognitive biases. Our brains are wired to look for patterns. If you're already feeling unsafe, your mind will notice things that reinforce that fear. This is called confirmation bias. For example, a coworker glances at you with a blank expression and your mind goes, "See? They don't like me." When in reality, maybe they were just deep in thought. 4. Overthinking and control. Sometimes, paranoia is a symptom of trying to control an uncontrollable world. If uncertainty feels threatening, your mind starts creating stories to fill in the blanks, even if those stories are painful. Let's humanize this for a moment. Imagine walking into a room, and instead of thinking, "I hope I have a good time," your brain goes, "Everyone here is judging me." Or imagine getting a text that says, "Can we talk later?" And your heart immediately drops. They're mad. You've done something wrong. You feel hyperalert. You read between the lines constantly. You replay conversations for hidden meanings. You don't trust easily. And when you do, you worry that you'll regret it. This is not just exhausting. It's lonely. Even in a room full of people, you can feel isolated. Because when your brain tells you you're in danger, it's hard to connect. Even love starts to feel like a threat. Let me tell you a story about someone. We'll call him Liam. Liam is a 32-year-old teacher. Kind, thoughtful, introspective. But ever since his early 20s, he struggled with what he calls the voice in his head. Whenever friends hang out without him, even if it's casual, his mind spirals. "They don't really like me. They're tired of me. I must have done something wrong." When someone compliments his work, he thinks they're just being polite. When someone criticizes him, it confirms everything he already feared. This led Liam to withdraw. He stopped reaching out. When he did spend time with others, he wore a mask of control and humor, never vulnerability. Eventually, Liam began therapy. And what he discovered was this: his paranoid mindset wasn't who he was. It was how he had learned to stay safe. Once he understood that, he could start challenging the voice, not obeying it. Let's return to that moment. The one where someone gives you a neutral look and your brain instantly goes on high alert. That moment isn't the problem. The interpretation is. The shift begins when you can step back and ask, is this thought true? Or is it just familiar? A paranoid mindset thrives in silence. It grows in the shadows, in the spaces we don't examine. So, let's shine a light. Gently. One small beam at a time. 1. Name the thought without judgment. When a suspicious or fearful thought enters your mind, pause. Don't fight it. Don't argue with it right away. Just name it. I'm having a thought that they're laughing about me. I'm having a thought that this person is out to manipulate me. By saying I'm having a thought instead of they are, you're creating space between you and the story. It reminds your brain, this is just a thought, not a fact. This technique, borrowed from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, helps you become an observer instead of a prisoner of your mind. 2. Look for evidence, not emotion. Feelings are valid, but they're not always facts. Let's say you feel certain someone is angry with you. Ask yourself, did they actually say or do something to show that? Could there be another explanation? What would I say to a friend having the same thought? You're not dismissing your feeling. You're just making room for curiosity. Paranoia is fueled by certainty in the absence of evidence. But healing begins with gentle questioning. 3. Reconnect with your body. Paranoid thinking often disconnects us from our physical selves. We stay stuck in our heads, analyzing every moment, every word, every expression. One of the most powerful things you can do is bring yourself back into your body. Take a slow breath. Feel the weight of your feet on the ground. Place a hand on your chest or stomach and breathe into it. These simple grounding practices remind your nervous system, you are safe right now. The mind can be loud, but the body holds truth. 4. Limit mental replays. A common habit in paranoid thinking is rumination, playing a moment over and over again in your head, looking for what you missed. The problem is, the more you replay it, the more distorted it becomes. Set a time limit. Say, I'll give this thought 5 minutes, and then I'll let it go. Or replace the rumination with action. Write it down, talk it through, or distract yourself with something tactile and present. The goal is not to suppress the thought, but to prevent it from owning you. 5. Practice radical transparency, where safe. Paranoid thoughts often fester in silence. If you feel safe doing so, try gently voicing your concern with someone you trust. For example, hey, I noticed I started overthinking our last conversation. Can I check in with you? Sometimes I get anxious and assume the worst. I just want to clear the air. This vulnerability, though scary, can be healing. Often, we find that people are more understanding than we expect. And even if they're not, it's still powerful to stand in your truth. Once paranoid thinking becomes less of a reflex, the next chapter is reconnection. Let's start with yourself. 1. Rebuilding self-trust. Here's the irony. Many people with paranoid thinking don't actually trust their own perceptions. That's why they doubt everyone else's intentions. So instead of trying to control others, begin rebuilding your own sense of truth. Start keeping promises to yourself, even small ones. Journal your thoughts and check back later to see what actually happened. Validate your emotional reactions while challenging the story attached to them. The more you trust your ability to observe reality without spiraling, the less your brain needs to be in constant defense mode. 2. Allow yourself to be wrong safely. Part of healing is realizing it's okay to be wrong about someone's intentions. You misread the text. You thought someone was upset, but they weren't. You assumed judgment, but it was just silence. This doesn't make you foolish. It makes you human. And the more you allow small mistakes in perception, the less your brain feels pressure to always be on guard. 3. Reconnect slowly with the world. Healing from paranoid thinking doesn't mean flinging the doors open to everyone. It means testing trust in small doses. Share a little vulnerability and see how it lands. Ask for clarification instead of assuming. Give others the benefit of the doubt, just once. Then again. Each moment becomes a tiny data point, and over time, your brain begins to rewrite the script. Maybe I don't have to assume the worst. Maybe I can survive discomfort without spiraling. Maybe people can be kind without wanting something in return. Let me introduce you to another person. We'll call her Rena. Rena grew up in a household where secrets were currency. Trust was risky. Vulnerability was punished. So by the time she reached adulthood, her default was suspicion. She second-guessed compliments. She avoided eye contact. She didn't believe in unconditional love, even from herself. But through therapy, journaling, and the practice of reality testing, Rena began to notice patterns. She began naming her fears out loud. Eventually, she even had a heart-to-heart with her sister, someone she had kept at a distance for years. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And slowly, the fortress she had built around her heart started to soften, not crumble, just soften. That softness is where healing begins. Now, before we close, I'd like to invite you into a brief moment of reflection. A pause. Just for you. Take a breath. Get comfortable. And gently bring these questions to mind. When did I first start feeling like I couldn't trust people? What moments in my past might have shaped this? What would it feel like to live with a little more peace and a little less suspicion? Is there someone I can talk to about this? A friend, a journal, a therapist? You're not rushing to answers. You're just making space. That's how we begin. You are not your fear. Breaking free from a paranoid mindset is not about forcing yourself to trust blindly. It's about recognizing that your fear, while once helpful, no longer needs to run the show. You are not your suspicion. You are not your past. You are not broken. You are simply a human who learned to protect themselves in a world that didn't always feel safe. And now, you're learning a new way. One where safety doesn't mean isolation. It means connection. It means curiosity. It means standing in your own truth, even if your voice trembles. Thank you for joining me in this quiet, courageous conversation. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your stories, your questions, or what this brought up for you in the comments. And always remember, while these reflections are a powerful starting point, nothing replaces the support of a qualified therapist or mental health professional. Please reach out if you need help. And hey, if this episode helped you understand yourself or someone else just a little better, please consider subscribing, liking, or just sharing this with someone who might need it. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and remember, I'm right here with you, behind your mind.